channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I am giving you my Clear Your Shit TBR Part 2. So this is the TBR for the remaining prompts. I will disclaim I am going to go over 2 other prompts that I definitely missed in last month's TBR, so I read them in November, my bad. But as of filming this, I haven't read them yet, so I'm just gonna go through them because if I don't get to them in November, then I can just read them in this month. So we'll see what happens with it, but I'm just gonna go through the prompts. I'm not gonna state what the prompt actually is. You can, I will put it here at the bottom of the screen for you so that you can see what the prompt is, unless it is one of the surprise prompts in which I'm not gonna fucking tell you. It's a secret. If you want the secret, you can pay for the Patreon. No, I'm not joking. That is also a side note. If you are genuinely somebody who just straight up can't wait for the surprise prompts, the $10 patrons do get those surprise prompts at the beginning of the month. That is because I know there are a lot of you who find that like you really want to know, but I do need to keep it like a secret, and that is how I managed to do that. All of the money goes directly back into the Readathon and it helps pay for the website. That's it. All right. Anyway, moving on. Here is my TBR for December's Clear Your Shit. Wearing my Clear Your Shit merch today specifically. For Aries, I will be reading Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This was recommended to me by my cousin Ozzy's husband, David. Luke has never been to school. He's never had a birthday party or gone to a friend's house for an overnight. In fact, Luke has never had a friend. Rip in peace. Luke is one of the Shadow Children, a third child forbidden by the population police. He's lived his entire life in hiding, and now, with the new housing development replacing the woods next to his family's farm, he's no longer even allowed to go outside. Then, one day, Luke sees a girl's face in the window of a house where he knows 2 other children already live. Finally, he's met a Shadow Child like himself. Jen is willing to risk everything to come out of the shadows. Does Luke dare to become involved in her dangerous plan? Can he afford not to? The audiobooks for this are really, really short, so I expect to knock this out pretty quickly, and I may move on with the rest of the series depending on how this works, how this is. Next, we have, for the Leio prompt, Bianca Torre is Afraid of Everything by Justine Pukela-Winans. 16-year-old Bianca Torre is an avid birder undergoing a gender identity crisis and grappling with an ever-growing list of fears. Bianca enlists the help of a friend, Anderson Coleman, to investigate what's going on when a creepy plague mask murderer takes their neighbor's life. As Bianca and Anderson dig deeper into the murder with a little help from Bianca's crush and fellow birding aficionado, Elaine, the trio uncovers a conspiracy much larger and weirder than imagined. But when the killer catches wind of the investigation, Bianca's #1 fear of public speaking doesn't sound so bad compared to the threat of being silenced for good. We love that, right? Next up, we have for Sagittarius, Corrections in Ink by Carrie Blakinger. This is, I actually follow Carrie on social media. Carrie served time within the TDCJ system, which I am very intimate with at this point. And this is a memoir of that time, and I'm a little bit nervous about reading it. I think that there's a chance that it's a little bit triggering to me, but I feel like I've read so much abolitionist media at this point that reading prison memoirs is probably like my next move up, just because the abolitionist papers are and books tend to pull from one another, and so that information starts to feel repetitive at a certain point. There we go, that lighting's a little bit better. Next up, we have for Fire Element, we have Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is a thriller that I've been looking forward to. Montserrat has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys club running the film industry in 90s Mexico City. And she's all but invisible to her best friend Tristan, a charming, if faded, soap opera star, though she's been in love with him since childhood. Then Tristan, there's a over the A, I don't actually know what that does with the pronunciation though, discovers his new neighbor is the cult horror director Abel Urueta, and the legendary auteur claims he can change their lives, even if his tale of a Nazi occultist imbuing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. The magic film was never finished, which is why, Urueta swears, his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montserrat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scene and lift the curse. But Montserrat soon notices a dark presence following her, and Tristan begins seeing the ghost of his ex-girlfriend. As they work together to unravel the mystery of the film and the obscure occultist who once roamed their city, Montserrat and Tristan may find that the sorcerers and magics are not the stuff of movies. I like Silvia Moreno Garcia's writing a lot, and I also think that she kind of genre bends quite a bit, and so I'm excited to kind of see what that's going to look like. Next we have Fire Signs. I will be reading Witch King by Martha K. Wells. After being murdered, his consciousness dormant and unaware of the passing of time while confined in an elaborate water trap, Kai wakes to find a lesser mage attempting to harness Kai's magic to his own advantage. That was never going to go well. But why was Kai imprisoned in the first place? What has changed in the world since his assassination, and why does the Rising World Coalition appear to be growing in influence? Kai will need to pull his allies close and draw on all of his pain magic if he is to answer even the least of these questions. He is not going to like the answers. That seems stressful. Love that. For the mini boss, it is a surprise prompt, so I'm just going to be putting what I chose as my weakness, I think is my weakness. I chose Solar Girl Boss. And I will be reading Truly Darkly Deeply by Victoria Selman. This is also a recommendation from Art like a year ago, and I just never read it, which, good for me. 12-year-old Sophie and her mother, Amelia Rose, move to London from Massachusetts, where they meet the charismatic Maddie Melgreen, who quickly becomes an intrinsic part of their lives. But as the relationship between the two adults fractures, a serial killer begins targeting young women with a striking semblance to Amelia Rose. When Maddie is eventually sent down for multiple murders, questions remain as to his guilt, questions which ultimately destroy both women. Nearly 20 years later, Sophie receives a letter from Battlemouth Prison informing her Maddie is dying and wants to meet. It looks like Sophie might finally get the answer she craves, but will the truth set her free or bury her deeper? Seems stressful, and sometimes I'm just trying to get stressed out. There is a free space here, and I have not chosen a book for it. I think what I'm doing with the free spaces this year is that I am mostly going to just be filling in with whatever else is on my TBR. By that I mean I have like a list of books that I want to read on both Goodreads and Libby, and that is what I am going through since I don't have that many owned unread books. So I'll just insert something from there for the free spaces. For the Cancer sign, I'll be reading Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. Last month in November, I read Mary by Nat Cassidy, and that shit slapped. So I'm very excited to read Nestlings. Anna and Reed need a lucky break. The horrifically complicated birth of their first child has left Anna paralyzed, bitter, and struggling with mobility, with her relationship with Reed, with resentment for her baby. That's about to change when the words any New Yorker would love to hear, affordable housing lottery. They've won an apartment in the Deptford, one of Manhattan's most revered buildings with beautiful vistas of Central Park and stunning architecture. Reed dismisses disturbing events and Anna's steep unease and paranoia as the price of living in New York with people are odd, but he can't explain the needle-like bite marks on the baby. That's suspicious. That's weird. For Pisces, I will be reading The Memory Eater by Rebecca Mahoney. This was one of the books, so was Witch King, also, side note. This was one of the books that was on my releases I'm excited for. For generations, a monster called the Memory Eater has lived in the caves of Whistler Beach, Maine, surviving off the unhappy memories of those who want to forget. And for generations, the Harlows have been in charge of keeping her locked up and keeping her fed. After her grandmother dies, 17-year-old Alana Harlow inherits the family business. But there's something Alana doesn't know. The strange gaps in her memory aren't from an accident. Her memories have been taken, eaten, and with them she's lost the knowledge of how to keep the monster contained. Now the Memory Eater is loose. Alana's mistake could cost Whistler Beach everything, unless she can figure out how to retrieve her own memories and recapture the monster. But as Alana delves deeper into her family's magic and the history of her town, she discovers a shocking secret. Bless you. She discovers a shocking secret at the center of the Harlow family business and learns that tampering with memories never comes without a price. Next up, for Scorpio, I will be reading The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. 5 attendees are selected for a month-long writing retreat at the remote estate of Rosa Vallow, the controversial high priestess of feminist horror. Alex, a struggling writer, is thrilled. Upon arrival, they discover they must complete an entire novel from scratch, and the best one will receive a 7-figure publishing deal. I would actually be interested to watch this on TV. Thanks. Alex's long-extinguished dream now seems within reach, but then the women start to die. Trapped, terrified, not that part. I don't want to see that part on TV. Trapped, terrified, yet still desperately writing, it is clear there is more than a publishing deal at stake at Blackbriar Estate. More at stake. Alex must confront her own demons and finish her novel to save herself. Imagine trying to, like, write a book while also everyone around you is dropping dead. Seems very stressful. Like, people can't even handle the stress of NaNoWriMo. I just do not imagine that they would actually be, like, I feel like that would cause immediate writer's block. Oh, I'm gonna die if I don't finish this? Dead. Anyway, that's just from what I know with authors, you know? Anyway. For Water Element, I'll be reading Path to Villainy by S.L. Rowland. I'm actually really excited about this. Wit was an ordinary NPC in a video game. As a Cabal Skald, he sang songs to empower heroes before they entered the local dungeons. Every day was a fresh start. Every day, Wit woke with no memory of his previous encounters with those so-called heroes. And every day, he forgot the countless beatings and deaths he took at the hands of the murder hobos he valiantly buffed. But when all those memories suddenly come flooding back, he only wants one thing: revenge. And I support him. See, I don't kill random NPCs in my games. I don't kill them. I help them with whatever they need, so. Next up, for water signs, I will be reading Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adeje-Brenya. Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacker are the stars of Chain Gang All-Stars, the cornerstone of CAPE, or Criminal Action Penal Entertainment, a highly popular, highly controversial, profit-raising program in America's increasingly dominant private prison industry. It's the return of gladiators, and prisoners are competing for the ultimate prize: their freedom. No, I don't think this is going to be upsetting to me at all. In CAPE, prisoners travel as links in chain gangs, competing in death matches for packed arenas with righteous protesters at the gate. And those protesters are right. Thurwar and Stax, both teammates and lovers, are the fan favorites, and if all goes well, Thurwar will be free in just a few matches, a fact she carries as heavily as her lethal hammer. As she prepares to leave her fellow links, she considers how she might help preserve their humanity in defiance of these so-called games, but CAPE's corporate owners will stop at nothing to protect their status quo, and obstacles they lay in Thurwar's path have devastating consequences. Wow, can't wait to be upset. I just know that I'm gonna be upset. Then we have another free space, which again I will be filling in later on. And for the final boss battle, I just wrote the word weapon. Good for me. That's helpful. No, I picked Fanny Pack is my weapon. Can't Spell Treason Without the Tea by Rebecca Thorne. All Reina and Chianti want is to open a bookshop that serves tea. Worn wooden floors, plants on every table, firelight drifting between the rafters, all complemented by love and good company. Thing is, Reina works as one of the queen's private guards, and Chianti is the most powerful mage in existence. Leaving their lives isn't so easy. Sounds like Narrator and Ariadne, if you ask me. Sorry about my dog. All of my pets have decided that I don't get to film today. I don't know. Yeah. But after an assassin takes Reina hostage, she decides she's thoroughly done risking her life for a self-centered queen. Meanwhile, Chianti has been waiting for a chance to flee responsibility. All the better that her girlfriend is on board. Together, they settle in Tawny, a town that boasts more dragons than people, and open the shop of their dreams. I've had this on my Kindle for ages, and so I'm excited to finally get around to reading it. That is my TBR, though. Sorry, I feel like I kind of ran this down really quickly, but a lot of things are going on, and I do not have time to film this again later, so here we are. Also sorry about the lighting. I do not control the sun. With all of that being said, that's my TBR. Let me know if you're reading any of these books that I've talked about, or if you're participating in the readathon. I love to hear about people participating. And if you are participating, don't forget to read the FAQ. Very important. Like, I think you should put it on your TBR. That's how important it is. In fact, maybe I'll put it on the next year's as a prompt. Read the FAQ, you know? Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you didn't enjoy this video, let me know in the comments down below how I can make it better, unless it's like opinions or like my dog's barking because I don't have control over her. She lives her best life, you know? I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first week of the month, first full week of the month. That's it. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.